Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Howard who loved writing stories.
This is brilliant.
Young Howard wrote many stories and scripts.
Mr. Quackers was on his magic toilet.
But then one day he grew up and discovered alcohol and laziness, so he put his writing in the attic and forgot about it. 20 years later, Howard found his old stories and persuaded his lifelong friend Rufus to read them. Join Rufus and Howard as they embark on a mission to read everything he wrote, from the age of 5 until now, in The Worst Writer in the World.
Little Howard dreamed of being a writer, and so he sat and wrote every night. But everything he wrote was fucking shite, yeah. Wubba-dubba-doo, wubba-dubba-doo. Worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world. He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer.
Hello everybody and welcome back to The Worst Writer in the World. Oh no, the dog's here. That dog's here. Oh,
That's just a TARDIS. It's a convincing TARDIS sound effect.
no. Is that... Alright, but why has that TARDIS got a duck in it?
This is where I keep my ducks.
Well, exciting news everybody. It's Doctor Who time. Alright, it's another Doctor Who story by Howard Long, right?
That's right. Where have we been all this time?
In time
we've
travelling.
been in time travelling.
We've been in time travelling, yeah.
We've been in time travelling.
So, a bit of sad news recently, right? Terence Dicks, the writer of Doctor Who, died.
Oh, no.
But I remember when we were teenagers, young teenagers, we went to a bookshop in Leicester because you wanted to get some books signed by Terence Dicks and meet Terence Dicks, and you were well excited to meet him, right?
Very much so, yeah.
What did he say to you?
He said, hello. I don't remember what he said, but we've got photographs.
We do, yeah. We
Don't
should
we
share them.
Dig that out and see if I can photograph of me. You're not in it. You took the photograph, so it's just a
I?
photograph of me next to a Dalek.
You next to a Dalek,
And
yeah.
I think there's a photograph of Terence Dicks.
Brilliant.
Well, so I loved him and met him and read all his books, and unfortunately his talent did not rub off on me, as you will find out in this brand new Doctor Who story.
All right, let's get started, shall we?
Yes, please.
Howard, what can you tell us about this Doctor Who book that we're about to read?
Doctor Who went off air in 1989, right?
And that's when you started writing for it, right?
Yeah, we know that. We know that.
You were like, right, brilliant. Now I should write some Doctor Who scripts. Now they don't make them anymore.
But then they started writing books.
Yeah.
But the books were all growed up with
up,
like
yeah.
swears in.
Oh, really?
With swears and like
Really?
and like Ace was just fucking everyone, I think.
In your version.
Apart from Doctor Who. So I was like, well, this seems good. This seems like my kind of Doctor Who.
More going upstairs and pissing on each
So
other.
yeah, so Doctor Who installs a lift. That's what I remember about this is he installs a lift.
And he's like,
Ace,
okay.
go upstairs, Ace.
I mean, that's not going to be the voice I
No,
use. I
no,
should
no.
warn you now,
I'm
though.
just doing Sylvester McCoy.
Okay. All right, so this is a book, right? Because Doctor Who had been
There were
cancelled.
guidelines. Okay, so there were guidelines to submit your what's it called? Text.
Manuscript.
Manuscript, yeah.
What was the series called? It had a
Doctor
name,
Who.
right? The series of books.
The new adventures.
New Adventures,
of
okay.
Doctor Who.
Because the old Adventures have been cancelled.
Yeah, so this is the new adventures of Doctor Who with swears and sexes.
Okay, and it was meant to be with the
It was
latest incarnation of
continuing
Doctor Who.
stories of Sylvester McCoy,
Sylvester
Doctor
McCoy,
Who.
Doctor Who, and Ace Doctor Who.
Yeah, and that continued until they actually started making Doctor Who again for a second.
Really?
And then there was a load of Paul McGann.
Oh, for a second, as in you mean as in the movie?
And yeah, so
And what were the guidelines?
The guidelines were I don't remember them all, but one of the guidelines was don't have returning monsters like Daleks. Don't include anything.
No Daleks, no Cybermen.
Come up with
No
entirely
drilling.
Yeah, come up with entirely new things.
Did it
like
say no
drilling.
drilling?
No, because
All right, but no Cybermen drilling, no Balleranium.
the idea was to make it so there'd be no like lore or history behind it, so you could just come to it new as a person
Right,
and
so
just
it'd be
read it as a book.
Okay. all
You'd
right.
still have to explain the wheezing, groaning sound, obviously, and then there's this Doctor Who travelling around in a
Yeah.
machine. But don't have Daleks because we can't get the copyright.
Right, okay. Don't have things we can't have.
Yeah.
Don't have Star Trek in it.
Yeah, don't have Star Trek in it. So, well, you know me. In my previous scripts of Doctor Who, I've always tried to introduce Daleks and Cybermen as any every available
and
opportunity.
3 old Doctor Who's if you can,
Yeah. And so I took that remit with a bit of salt, a little pinch of salt, and went like, yeah, but what if you're a really good writer like me?
All right, well, pre-credit sequence, Terror of the Silence by Howard Long, not Stephen Moffat. This first paragraph is in italics.
Wow. I was really trying to grab their attention with my italics. I was like, hey, you guys know Latin? Check this out. Italics is Latin, right?
No. Latin's a whole other language.
Oh.
Just putting your words in italics doesn't mean you're writing in Latin.
Okay.
Like every doctor has a master, and like from the stifling heat of a summer's day comes a thunderstorm, so the sonic boom of 21st century city life finally reaches its own breaking point, and from it, after a lifetime of listening, the hush had been released. I don't really know what that means.
What? Do you know what I mean? It sounds really exciting.
Like every doctor has a master. Is
Okay,
that true? Like if I go and see my GP, right? I go and see, excuse me, doctor, I've got a bit
You
of
know
a...
full well
I've
that
got a
you're
bit of a
reading
pain.
Doctor Who book.
Yeah, but
excuse me, mean that your GP has Roger
No, let me
Delgado
check. So,
turning up
excuse
trying
me,
to say...
excuse me, Doctor Doable, I think her name is. Dr. Doable.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Dr. Doable. I've got a bit of a pain in my foot. And then in the corner there's a bloke going, oh, Dr. Doable.
Oh, Dr. Doblo. Yeah. Have you not read Dr. Zhivago when like Anthony Ainley
The
pitches
master
up
turns
halfway
up.
through?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Frankenstein with his, like trying to... Excuse me, Master Who, I'm trying to make a monster.
John Sims always like there stood behind Frankenstein's monster, isn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Right, let's start for real. London's West End on a Saturday night. 1 million lights and 10 times as many people. Now, okay. London has a population of 9 million.
Right.
So that means everyone who lives in London, plus an extra 1 million people, are all in the West End. What happened? What happened to the rest of London? That everyone had to evacuate all the suburbs and all the everywhere except the West End, all cram in 10 million people. And who are those extra 1 million people?
Thinking about it now, having lived in a house and even
Yeah.
just being in a room right now,
Yeah.
you know, in this room there's like a lot more lights than there are people.
Yeah.
So it's the wrong way round, isn't it?
It is actually.
There's
yeah.
usually there's more lights than
That's
people.
true, yeah. That's an odd situation, basically. A lot of people wandering around in the dark looking for one light per 10 people.
They're all like people in a massive pile, right? That don't really fit. Like, oh, I'm drowning, dead people dying, trying to get out to see those lights, but they can't because they're under a pile of 10 million people. Just a horrible dead pile of people being lit up.
With only 1 million lights to illuminate them.
It's like a Christmas pile of dead people. It's just a pile of 10 million dead people with some
Lights
fairy
wrapped around them, yeah. They couldn't
Yeah.
afford a tree this year, so we got 10 million dead people instead.
But the most important thing to take away, I suppose, is that, there's more lights than there are people, as a rule. It was foolish of me.
Well, there you go. That's the way you do it. You say 1 million people and 10 times as many lights. I mean, that would be... Even if that's an exaggeration, it's not like, oh my God, they can't possibly... They probably can.
Yeah.
Could fit 1 million people in the West End, maybe.
Then it kind of puts the emphasis on the fact that there's a lot of lights, and I'm not sure that's what this is about. I think I'm just going to say
Why
it's
is it in
busy.
your second line, then? Just skip it.
I just want to say it's really busy. But I wanted to say artistically, I was trying to write prose.
I'll redraft it for you. London's West End on a Saturday night. It's really busy.
It's well busy, Professor.
It's right busy, Professor Who.
Yeah.
All right. 1 million lights and 10 times as many people.
Oh, so many people. I can't fit. Squeeze it. It's too dark.
Everyone is dead.
Everyone's dead. It's so dark.
Neon. Food smell.
Neon food smell.
Food smell. Such a good phrase. Like in description. Food smell. Oh, London on a Saturday night. Food smell. So weak.
What? That's what it's
brilliant.
like. It's just like a
No,
million
I mean-
lights, 10 times as many people.
Food
Neon
smell.
food smell.
But then it does go on to tell you what food smell.
Which food
Because it's
smell?
got food smell, dash,
Yeah.
nachos,
Nachos.
and those nut things in chocolate stuff. I mean, you're so lazy.
Yeah, there you go. What? No.
You're so lazy.
Nut things in chocolate stuff. What if nobody knows what they're called?
Those nut nothings in chocolate stuff. I mean, in one phrase you've used the word stuff and the word things. You know so little about what they are. You've written food smell and also London. All right, what's the food smell in London? Well, nachos, obviously. London's famous for its nacho smell.
I mean, so many nachos.
And, of course, those nut things in chocolate stuff.
I mean, like a million nights, 10 times as many people, 100 times as many nachos.
Yeah.
My understanding.
Yeah.
And
a
there's
million nut
there's
things.
nut things in chocolate sauce.
Not sauce, chocolate stuff.
Chocolate stuff, sorry, yeah.
Those nut things. I mean, nuts.
Yeah.
What's a nut thing? A nut thing is just a nut. Those nut things in
No.
chocolate
Well,
stuff.
that's no, a nut's a nut. A nut thing is a nut thing. I mean, you can't really argue with that.
Something that's
There's
like
thing,
a nut, but
a
not
nut
a nut.
thing in chocolate stuff, you know. Chocolate nuts, maybe. I don't know. Maybe chocolate nuts.
You mean chocolate-coated nuts, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Literally no idea. What I know.
No one does. Well, do you know? I mean, because I don't associate that with London. I've been to London a few times, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone like on the street selling chocolate-coated nut things.
There was like when I
Did they used to?
They used to be everywhere. There was like I don't know what they were, but there seemed to be some kind of chocolate stuff. And they
So kind of nothing in a chocolate.
well, so they're nut things in chocolate stuff, and
Yeah.
I guess I was hoping that everyone would like relate to the idea that they had no idea what those things were either, because I never
Yeah.
bought any, I never tried any.
Yeah.
I just saw them and they smelled good, and I wanted to eat them, but it was like, what the fuck is that? A nut thing in chocolate stuff?
So you are writing from experience. When you wrote this, London smelt of nachos and nut things and chocolate
I
stuff.
don't know about the nachos. I don't know what that's about. I don't think I even knew what a nacho was. I'm not sure I know what a nacho is now. Is it like a Dorito?
Yeah.
But so what you're seeing is my attempt, because this is the first prose we've done of mine that's adult prose.
Oh, really? Okay. Because we did things like the bus story and Candle of Ever. They're kid prose.
So it's my hopes to improve and like do really brilliant complex sentences like the opening italics bit.
Yeah, that was.
But also to do the sly nod things that like people like
Yeah.
will get, like, oh yeah, I know about what you're talking about with those nut things.
Those
and
nut things in chocolate stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they called?
What are they?
Who would expect a writer to find out and tell you?
That's not, but that's not the point of it. The point is that everyone else is going, what the fuck are they? It's supposed to be a little joke for people that have gone, what is that?
All right, it's a joke. It's not. Listener, it's a joke. It's not Howard being too lazy to find out what things
Well,
are
it
called.
wouldn't be, there'd be no point in saying it if I knew what they were.
Well, you're describing what's going on. I mean, it's going to carry on.
What I've done is
Because-
I've not followed the rule of three. I've gone nachos and those nut things and chocolate stuff. It should be nachos, McDonald's, and that nuts.
Well,
The
no,
point
this is part of a
it's supposed
longer
to be
list.
Okay.
What you're doing here is you're making a list of things about London.
Yeah.
So you've started by saying London's West End on a Saturday night.
Beef Burger Man. What are they called? Beef Burger Man. Those guys with the red and the big hats.
Beef eaters. I mean, they're not
Yeah, them
the
guys.
big hats. The guys
That's
with the
London,
Busbys
they're
are the guys with the Busbys
Beef
are
Burger
actually
Man.
they're Palace Guards.
Beef Burger Man.
But there's another thing called Beef Eaters.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's no it's Beef Burger Men.
Beef Burger, yeah. But I meant beef eaters. You know what I meant.
I do, yeah.
But they're the Palace Guards Beef Burger Man.
No, Palace Guards are the ones with the tall Busbys.
Well, what do the
And
Beef Burger Men
Eaters, Beef Eaters are the ones at the Tower of London with the
Right.
smaller hats.
Their hats are small.
Yeah, do you want to see one?
Not really.
Okay. So, neon, food smell. Nachos and those nut things in chocolate stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I mean, I don't because I wasn't there at the time. But
Yeah, but I
You've
saw some
explained
just
it
the
to
other
me.
day though.
Did you?
I walked over like not the Millennium Bridge, but one of those ones.
I know I've seen them selling like roasted chestnuts
Is that what it
on the
is?
South Bank. Like they do have a dark outside, so maybe you've mistook it. Let's see what else you've got to say about London. All right.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to read it again because I'm enjoying it too much. I'm going to start from the beginning of the paragraph because this is one of my favourite things you've ever written. This phrase.
Thank you.
Neon, food smell.
You stop saying food smell like it's at the end of a sentence. You told me that there was a colon or a semicolon
You've
or
got a
something.
dash after food smell.
Yeah, dash means like these food
Yeah,
smells.
absolutely. Neon, food smell, nachos, and those nut things in chocolate stuff. That's how I'm doing it.
No, because you keep pausing after.
You
It's a
have to
food
laugh.
smell.
To laugh
You're
because-
ruining it.
because food
You're
smell
ruining my
keeps
brilliant-
making me laugh.
I'm writing good poetry prose.
I know, and I'm really enjoying it. All right, I'll do
fucking
it again. I'll do it right
ruining
this time.
everything.
Let me try again.
Okay,
I'm going to get it right this time.
better.
Are you ready?
Yeah, break ready.
Neon, food smell. I thought I was going to get through it that time. Nachos and those nut things in chocolate stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm acting it now.
yeah,
all right?
that's good.
McDonald's.
Oh, no, yeah,
Is the next thing, that's true, yeah.
That's good.
Schwarzenegger and Dench sharing the billing on Shaftesbury Avenue. Outdoor pizza and entertainments.
Outdoor pizza. I like the idea of
Outdoor pizza, yeah.
Well,
What is
I
outdoor
don't know why
pizza?
that's funny, but that's funny.
But I mean,
right?
yeah, no, because you do, like in the West End particularly, there are loads of kind of places where you go up to a window and buy a slice of pizza and stuff,
Yeah,
aren't there? So
I mean,
that is essentially outdoor pizza.
It's
but
not, though. It's not what it's called. Though, is
no,
it?
it's not what it's called.
It's not
no,
outdoor
but I know what you mean.
I mean, like,
More
even if
so
you-
than the nuts. I
Even if you
understand.
buy pizza indoors, you can still take it outside. It doesn't make it fucking outdoor pizza.
There's
does
a
it? It's
guard
like
on the door
outdoor.
going, "Excuse me, sir, did you buy outdoor pizza? Because if you bought it here, you've got to make sure you bought the correct form of pizza. If you take indoor pizza outside, it explodes."
Yeah.
Yeah, because outdoor. Well, I mean, you use
I mean,
outdoor.
if even the outdoor pizza that you're talking about is still indoors, it's not like that window leads to the outdoors. It's like a hole in a building
Yeah.
with a person selling you pizza. But that pizza's indoors until you take it outside. It's,
Yes.
it's just pizza.
It's just pizza.
There's not
yeah.
there's no such thing as indoor pizza. So outdoor pizza cannot exist.
You mean takeaway?
Takeaway pizza, yeah. That's what I mean.
That's what you mean. Yeah, later on we're gonna Doctor Who's gonna get an outdoor Chinese
Yeah, he's gonna
and,
do
and
him.
some outdoor curry.
Yeah.
The problem is that you use outdoor as an adjective. You use it to mean like in the forest or camping, like
Yeah.
like outdoor. Like if you go to Millets or Blacks to buy a tent, that's an outdoor
That's
store.
an outdoor store, yeah.
You don't use outdoor just to mean like eating a pizza on the street. do you? That's why it sounds strange.
Street pizza.
Street pizza, yeah. There's
Well, there
another
wasn't
one.
a term for it then. Street food
I
is
think,
like...
I think there was.
No. No, street food is a new thing that only
It's not.
emerged in the past couple of years. I invented outdoor food. Outdoor food.
Yeah.
Outdoor pizza.
Absolutely. I mean, I think street food has been around for hundreds of years.
No, but it wasn't called it until hipsters came on the scene and
it
said we need
was.
to
I
name
think-
it.
I
You
think
didn't need a name before. People didn't need to differentiate between pizza inside a building and outside a building. No one was going.
You did.
No
Yeah,
one was.
We've got an example right here of someone who
No
wanted to.
one was confused about that. No one was going like, "Oh, should I stop calling it pizza now? I've left the building." Has it got a new name?
Yeah.
Or was that half of
Should
it
I
indoors
call
and
it-
I walked outside? Is it going to give it a different name now?
Should I call it Pete's In and Pete's Out?
There we go. Yeah, exactly. That
No,
would
then
be-
Pete's going to get confused if I
No,
do
you
that.
fucking
Do you want some
nutty.
Pete's In, Pete? What?
What?
Outdoor pizza is what bears eat.
Yeah.
So when bears make pizza, it's called outdoor pizza or bear pizza. You choose.
More commonly bear pizza.
Or more commonly, raw.
Yeah.
Like,
They
yeah,
can't talk.
yeah.
Oh, and
They don't speak
They
English.
don't eat pizza either.
So let's start again.
Oh God.
I'll do it properly this time.
Oh yeah.
Neon food smell. Nachos and those nothings in chocolate stuff.
Yay.
McDonald's, Schwarzenegger and Dent sharing the billing on Shaftesbury Avenue.
Avenue.
Outdoor,
Outdoor
pizza,
pizza.
and entertainments. Further nuts
Further nuts.
in the.
What?
What's going on? It's going to make sense. You're making a gag. You're doing a gag.
Oh,
Further nuts. It's actually funny if I don't carry on, but further nuts
there's nuts everywhere.
in the form
Oh.
of religious speakers from foreign climes. I don't know why they're foreign. Also, you spelt climes wrong. You spelt climes with a B.
That's how you climb. I mean, like, what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
Well, it
How else
says
would you climb
further
something?
nuts in the form of religious speakers from foreign climes. So you're meaning like Spanish ladders. Like
Yeah. Okay. So.
French stairs or something.
Well, maybe I do mean that. Maybe I mean people that like are foreign but
think you
from
must.
up a ladder.
Right, so at this point, Howard, we are very much still on the prologue. You have described London a bit, and that's all. All right?
Described it very well
Oh,
and
very,
accurately.
Very well, yeah, especially the nachos.
Yes.
All right, let's
First
see.
thing,
Number one on the list, yeah.
what people think of when they go to London. What are you going to London for? Nachos.
Oh, I'm going for the famous nacho.
Get those London nachos.
Although if you go to
Yeah.
if you go to that pub next to the Trafalgar Studios, well, 10 years ago when
Yeah.
we used to go there,
Yeah.
they will do you fish and crisps,
They will
right?
do.
They will do fish and crisps, and the crisps are Doritos. So maybe that's what you were writing about. Like the food smells was the fish, and next to the fish was some crisps, and you're like, what? London, sort it out.
Why are you giving me fish and
This
crisps?
is wrong.
This is wrong.
All right, let's see what happens next. The hush was a natural phenomenon, not an evil being, not a power seeker, but simply a break in the weather that seldom, if ever, occurs. Spiralling outwards, all who were touched died instantaneously with half-formed words on their lips. Machinery stopped in its tracks. Even the mighty wind lost its whistle. Has anyone seen my whistle? My name is Mighty Wind.
Yeah, wrestler.
And yes,
I recognise you from WWF, actually.
That's right. I
Mighty
used
Wind,
to.
yeah,
I
really
used to
good.
be a very famous wrestler, but then I had a brain injury, and so since then I've been busking with my whistle, and there's not much I can do without it. I mean, I can't wrestle people in the street, can I? So
I can't sell nut things in chocolate stuff because
Chocolate
that
stuff,
job's
no.
already taken.
It's taken a job by
I'm just
by John the chocolate
Standing here
nut
blowing
seller.
my whistle, but
Yeah.
somebody stole my whistle.
Now I'm just blowing, just standing here blowing. No one's giving me any money. How am I going to afford my cat food this evening if I can't busk up a few pounds? I mean, go on. What am I going to do?
Come, help me busk them up. Help me busk up those pounds. Give me a whistle.
Without oxygen, sound cannot exist.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, good.
Well, yeah, as we all know from science class, without oxygen, sound doesn't exist.
That's true. Of course it is.
Sound doesn't travel well in a vacuum. That's nothing to do with
Exactly.
oxygen.
Yes. Yeah, there's no oxygen. What's making the sounds?
Yeah, as we're like, oxygen plays the drums. But if there's no oxygen, there's no one to play the drums.
You know, when like there's no oxygen, everyone dies.
Yeah.
They shut up, don't they? They're not saying anything anymore because they're all dead.
Actually, yeah. And now, when it comes to human sound, that is true, right? Because, yeah, without oxygen, everyone's too dead to make any noise.
Yeah. I'm sure it's about to say other reasons why there's no sound, not just the oxygen thing. Or maybe that
No,
paragraph
what it-
got lost in the print.
What it says is, without oxygen, sound cannot exist.
Yeah. As we all know,
Trying
yeah.
to work out what this means. The opposite is also true.
Without
So
sound,
without sound, oxygen can't exist.
Yeah.
For where there is no sound,
Yeah.
there is no life, and so no need for oxygen. That's a weird way of thinking. So if nothing's alive, oxygen goes, oh, well, I'm probably not needed here, then I'll just stop existing. So anyway, blah, 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 no life, no oxygen.
Of course.
With every sound it consumed, it gathered strength and pace in its mute blossoming.
Wow.
Everything died.
Wow.
The end. I'm assuming. But the next line is everything died. Nature itself ceased in its toil. It was as if time itself had come to an end, and there would be no more of anything ever again. No more nut things with chocolate stuff.
Oh, yeah.
No more neon. No more food smell.
Oh, no. What a terrifying thought.
Shit, yeah. Then, speeding like a bat out of hell from the direction of Covent Garden, appeared an alive person. Heavy Doc Martens silently pummeling into a sea of dead flesh and concrete paving. There are piles of dead people, you were right. As though someone had turned the telly down. It had taken away the sound of this character. Meta, you said it was meta. But it had somehow failed to kill the movement of this remarkable, young, human girl. Alright, so we've just met something called the hush. Right? Yeah, so can you just give me a quick explanation of what is the hush?
The hush is
Yeah.
this terrible occurrence.
Occurrence.
It's a
yeah.
happening. It's like something M. Night Shyamalan would be
proud of,
pissing
yeah.
himself with joy if he'd thought he'd invented. But I invented it.
If he'd invented that instead of spooky wind.
Spooky wind, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe he came to invent the hush and realised it had already been
Already
taken
been done by
me.
you, yeah,
So he
okay.
couldn't have it, so he had to have spooky wind instead. But I invented something that when sound gets so soundy, A thing
Yeah.
comes to eat that sound and have
So
it.
the hush eats sound.
Yes, and makes everything hush.
All right,
It's
and
all
that
quiet.
and that therefore people die.
Yes, because
Okay.
they can't live without saying things.
So the
You
hush.
know what humans are like? They've got to be saying stuff like, "Oh, where's me
chips?
chips?"
Okay. So when places get very noisy, like London, the hush turns up and eats all the sound.
Yeah.
And everyone dies.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Nailed it. All right. So what's happening at the moment is that we've just discovered that a human girl is running through dead London, where everyone's dead because the hush ate their noise. Right? And there's a human girl running through London, and I've got a feeling it might be Ace because you said it's Ace, and you told me it's Ace in this story, and it's Sylvester McCoy and Ace, so we all know. So here we go. Let's find out what Ace is up to. Even with the antimatter Discman the Doctor had constructed for her turned up to full volume, Ace's ears ached as the silence bored through Disaster Aria's music. Now that's not Disaster Area, but Disaster Aria. So the silence bored through Disaster Aria's music and battered at her skull till she feared it may implode. Her nostrils stung as it fought to gain entry to her nervous system any way available, and tears were rolling down her cheeks.
So I can't get in her ears. I'm going to go up her nose and remove sound that way.
Said the hush.
Said the hush, yeah.
Yeah. She paused for a moment to massage her temples, relieving the pain, a temporary respite. Then pushed on, clambering over the peace-ridden masses of the quiet dead, forcing a path through the deafening lull that ravaged like a wind-borne plague. Good.
So many fucking great descriptive words in this to say it's not very loud.
A lot of words.
It's very quiet.
The headphones were plugged directly into her imagination. And that's not something just anyone can do. Alright, Ace, I'm going to plug these headphones directly into your imagination, okay? Now, you're gonna have...
What are you talking about,
You're
Doctor?
gonna have to take
That's
your...
not a thing.
You're gonna have to take your trousers off so that I can plug it directly into your imagination, okay?
Doctor Who, you naughty man.
Said Doctor Who. Oh, Doctor Who, you naughty man. What did you say, Doctor Who? Nothing, don't worry. I'm just having a little conversation with myself. Oh, Doctor Who, you're a naughty man. Get your trousers off, Ace. I've got to plug something into your imagination. Is that a euphemism, Doctor Who? No, it's not. It is a euphemism, yes. This incarnation of Doctor Who talks to himself a lot, I reckon. I've decided that. No, it's not a euphemism, Ace. It's a euphemism. Oh, Doctor Who, you're so naughty. Yeah, that's his character now.
I mean, when he's hanging around with such a moron like Ace, he's probably going to end up talking to himself, isn't he?
The headphones were plugged directly into her imagination in order that only she could possibly hear the extreme noise of Lex Day Marshall's stack. Lex Day's Marshall stack.
Next day's Marshall Stack. Okay, I get it. So, like, basically what it's saying is that, like, if the sound were real, then the hush would eat it.
Oh, okay.
But if you pump it into someone's imagination and they only imagine they're hearing really, really
So
loud music, you can't have it.
So it's like virtual reality in kind of sci-fi where you plug your brain direct. You're not just wearing glasses that show you a screen. You plug it directly
No, you're
into
just
your
wearing
brain.
glasses. That's just kind of like help you read or something. Or see, like,
Yeah. The Doctor had correctly reasoned that if he could somehow arrange it so that the Discman itself
Yeah.
were encased in a shield of antimatter, then the
Yeah.
CD could continue its spinning without any unwanted interference, and that if the music it played was not, in fact, being played on any real frequency, but
Jesus.
an imaginary one.
Right.
Okay, so I've imagined a frequency for you.
got a,
I'm just imagining frequency 3.5 point milk T12.
I've got a question for you, Doctor Who.
No questions. No, sorry. I'm worried about.
just one
I'm worried
thing.
about the fact that I won't be able to answer it because I'm really making this up as I go
I'm
along.
confused about the fact.
Okay, go on,
Since
one
the music's imaginary, right? Why does it need a Discman? I mean, does that could we
No.
just go straight to the imaginary
No,
music?
the
Since
music.
it's completely in my mind.
The music's not imaginary. The
Right.
frequency is imaginary, and
Okay.
the Discman, the headphones are plugged into your imagination. Okay,
Yeah.
That's the bit where you have to take your trousers off. We're still going to do that later. Okay,
God, okay,
But
okay.
don't. No, the music's real. It's just plugged into your imagination using my special secret sonic screwdriver.
Okay.
I'm going to need to use that later. I don't usually show you that one. So yeah, the music was not in fact being played on any real frequency, but an imaginary one. Then the hush could not realistically touch it.
But where's the imaginary music? The imaginary music's not coming out of the Discman then, is it your fucking imaginary music?
Well, according
When you
to
just go, "Hey, imagine some music,
the
really
music,
loud music.
No, it says the music it played, so it is playing music, but the music it played was not being played on a real frequency,
Right.
but on an imaginary one. So the music's real, but it's being played on an imaginary frequency.
So she can't hear it then.
Unless she's got imaginary ears. Which she probably has. He
But
probably
even
gave
if
us some
your-
imaginary
even if your
ears.
ears are imaginary, that's going to make it even harder to hear imaginary frequencies,
Doctor
right?
Who, my ears are imaginary. Oh, that might be a problem. Oh, I'll get you some imaginary headphones and some imaginary music to listen to with your imaginary
I know
ears.
this is the new Adventures and it's supposed to be a bit more adult, but I mean, there's no suggestion in this TV series that Ace's ears are imaginary, and they always seemed quite real when I saw them on TV.
But who knows what's happened between the TV show and this book?
Yeah, of course.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean,
In the adventure of Doctor Who and Ace's imaginary ears.
okay, so she's imagining ears now.
Yeah, imaginary ears. All right, okay. Oh, no. All right.
Is the sentence getting even better?
No, it's the next paragraph. You've done what you've done to us so many times. I ought to go back. Let me read through that bit again so you get the full idea, okay? The headphones were plugged directly into her imagination in order that only she could possibly hear the extreme noise of Lex Day's Marshall stack. The Doctor had correctly reasoned that if he could somehow arrange it so that the Discman itself were encased in a shield of antimatter, then the CD could continue its spinning without any unwanted interference, and that if the music it played was not in fact being played on any real frequency, but an imaginary one, then the hush could not realistically touch it. Full stop, end of paragraph. This had been a feeble and dicky explanation of an unbelievably unlikely and cliched concept.
Okay, right.
But hey, thought Ace, even Time Lords have a feeble dicky side. Basically, you've done that thing that you often did where you read back and go, shit. Oh my god, what have I written, says Howard. I'd better excuse it in the next line. Okay, Doctor Who was a wazak.
Yeah, Doctor Who was a wazak.
Thought Ace.
But I mean, like, it says that it's cliched, but I don't think there's anything
No,
cliched about
it is
a
absolutely
Discman wrapped in antimatter.
About this paragraph, this unique paragraph you've just written.
Frequency music, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean, it's the most unique sentence I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, it is. In a perfect world, Ace would be encased in the antimatter shield. yeah, no one would have to talk to her. Thought Doctor
She'd
Who.
be dead, right?
Yeah. In a perfect world, I'd have put you in a concrete box and dropped you into a river years ago. In a perfect world, Ace herself would be encased in the antimatter shield, but as the Doctor had consistently proved to her in all their travels through time and space, there's just no such thing.
What is a case to put Ace in? An Ace case? No, there's no such thing as an Ace case, Ace. Can't put you in an Ace case, Ace.
But every time.
I'm quite looking forward to being put in an Ace case.
But maybe on this adventure, you could put me in an Ace case. That's a weird sentence, though, right?
It's
that in a perfect world, she would be encased in the antimatter shield. But as the Doctor consistently proved to her in all their travels through time and space, there's no such thing.
The thing that there's no such thing of is supposed to be the perfect world. You see, this just it
Oh,
fell at the start of
okay.
the sentence. It's really
It's,
badly phrased. It's the wrong way round.
All right, so there's no such thing. All right, okay, I didn't get that at all.
Well, I mean, there's no such thing as an antimatter Ace case either. So I mean, it doesn't really matter.
It's okay.
It doesn't matter what you thought.
Either way,
Yeah,
either way, it's fine.
Works, yeah,
and there's no
works
such thing as Ace or Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all fine. Whatever you thought that meant, it's true.
You were right. Yeah.
Well, that's a great sentence then.
Right.
It really, I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different ways you can read it,
Subtext,
and all of them are
working
true.
on many levels. That's what I do.
No, it's just so meaningless that it doesn't matter what you take from it, it's all true.
Yeah, or it's working on many levels, many different time levels.
One of those two things. Maybe both. Maybe it's working on both those levels. On a level of meaning and of meaninglessness.
Well, that's one of the many levels.
Yeah, it's 2 of them, actually.
Is it though?
We just said 2 things, then you said that's one of the many levels.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's 2.
No, that's one of them.
Okay.
Time magic.
yeah. Well, like when you go to a department store, you know, they don't just have one thing on each level, do you? You know, you don't go to trouser level and then shoe level.
I don't go to trouser level.
Trouser
'cause
level.
Trouts don't wear
Yeah,
trousers.
like trout level, trouser level, you
I don't
know.
go to trouser level.
Also, but you know, if they, you know, because they put the trout trousers along with the carp trousers and the salmon trousers.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have one thing per level. No. So that's why whatever you said makes sense or something.
Yeah. I
Okay,
agree.
next paragraph.
If it means I made sense, I agree.
I mean, it doesn't, but I'm just trying
Well,
I'm trying to have you back.
I don't know how trout trousers has got anything to do with what I said, but if that makes me make sense, then
that
yes,
is what
trout
you said.
trousers, yes.
that is what it says here. It says Ace had her trout trousers on, and she was running around with a CD Walkman plugged into her imagination. I mean, which one's odder? No, Ace could not decide which of the two facts were odder, but it was probably the imagination. Thank you for listening to this first chapter in a brand new story in the Worst Writer in the World show. If you want to say things at us, you can do so on our Facebook group, Worst Writer in the World. See you next week, people. Bye, Mill.
Worst writer in the world. Worst writer in the world.